Hey guys, welcome back. It is Guido. If you are here just for the code, it's down in the descriptions. I would appreciate you checking out the video if you do so. It'll also splash across with the magic of editing. So my first two that I did for the scavenger hunt, the first one I did was a 10,000 spotting and assist damage game that I had. The second one I did was my weekly webisode called Coffee Talk, where we drink coffee, we talk about tanks, look at the last week and the things that are coming up imminently. For the third one, what I'd like to do is kind of show you the genesis for my channel and why I started doing this. Well, the why is because I enjoy World of Tanks and a lot of the wargaming titles, getting into ships as well, and maybe even planes. I started planes, more into ships at this point, but specifically World of Tanks, obviously, as a community contributor. And I saw some of the stuff out there, people trying to help, and I thought to myself, you can actually do that pretty well. Taking into account your professional life, what you did, flying and instructing in fighters, and applying it to the game. Get noted, it's a pixel tank game. We're not trying to get too serious here. I'm not obviously creating warriors or anything like that here, but we can take some of those ideas and concepts of how you learn something, and if applied right, make people better at a pixel tank game that they actually like to play. So that was the genesis for what I was doing. I started with some small guides. I did a little writing for a small website that went a different direction. Some articles for that. I wrote a thing called the 10 Commandments of Watt, which I'm going to bring back here pretty soon. Just general guides and concepts of how to play the game. And as I got better at the game and started considering doing videos, that was the genesis for the YouTube channel. So one of the big things that I do on the channel is I will take replays from players and I'll analyze them. They'll send it and say, hey, at point X, what could I have done? Or overall, how could I have done this better? Will you take a look at my gameplay, help me get better? And I will tell you that that's been really fun and interesting. Really fun because of interacting with you guys, helping people in a lot of cases, and interesting because, and I knew this when I started, but it's not something you really think about until it starts to happen, that I have learned as much probably as I have taught people. And I've mentioned a couple times, but down in the comments sections of my videos, you will find a great community of people who are trying their level best to help each other without being toxic. And that's, I don't really like the toxic word. You know, people get grumpy on the internet, it happens. But what I appreciate about all of it is that on my channel, at least for now, maybe we get too big and that goes away a little bit. I certainly hope not, but trying to set the stage or set the idea that we're here to help each other. So if you have a different opinion, if you have a different way of doing it, if you know that someone's wrong, what they say, then put it down there in the comments, but do it in such a way that it's a learning environment and it's a sharing and it's an exchange of ideas and concepts, as opposed to, you know, the standard internet, you're an idiot, no, you're an idiot kind of thing. And I've really appreciated that about the people that have come to this channel and asked for advice or given advice, and it really goes both ways, and that's the part that has been very interesting to me and a happy circumstance, really, to be quite honest. I've enjoyed that probably as much as anything. I've learned how to edit a little bit better. I've learned how to present myself a little bit better on the videos. If you go back to some of the first videos, it's really kind of interesting there. And I can bring in some of the briefing capability that I did while I was actually in the Air Force and apply that to a YouTube channel, which on the surface is sort of frivolous because it's about a bunch of pixel tanks, but it's interesting to me. It just is. I really have enjoyed doing this. We've grown the channel from the first, dozen people to 1,500. So who knows where it's going to go from there. So I really appreciate you guys coming by. Thank you for the views. Thank you for the subs, the Twitch follows, the Twitch subs, all that stuff. And I hope you enjoy this video. This is an example again of me giving a specific player specific help. And I think that that's important in learning, because it is one thing to sit here and give big esoteric, big picture stuff. Hey, how do I get better at the game? Well, you do more damage. Okay, fair enough. That's important. Well, exactly how? Where? How do I apply that in a game? Give me a situation in the game, an example of where I needed to do more damage, or a way I could have done more damage, or what have I done up to that point that stopped me from getting that damage? There's a million questions in there. And the only way you do that is you start at the beginning of a game and you break it down as you go. Every decision builds on the next decision. When I get to the end and I send a video and say, hey, how could I have won this? And you tell me to look at the end. Well, I'm going to look at the beginning because all that matters. And really, if you back it up enough, what starts to matter is things like how your tank is set up, what your crew is, right? So all those things come into account to find out why it is I won or lost a game. Now, I'm not trying to put too fine a point on it. We're not saying that this is a life or death thing. But if you are interested in getting better at the game, then you should become a little bit of a student of the game for whatever time you have. You know, there's been some great forum posts lately about this, and it's the standard claim that if you're good at the game, you have no life, or you could use your time better. Well, that may be true, but it's probably not, right? If you have 1 hour of time to play a game, well, why not use some of that time to get better at the game? If you have 12 hours, good on you. Same thing. You know, you can play 12 hours and not learn a thing, and you can play 1 hour and learn quite a bit. That's what we're trying to do here, is help people learn how to play the game a little better, get a little better within their own skill set, whatever that is, whatever their base is to whatever their ceiling is. And that's the cool thing, right? We're just talking about personally getting better, not trying to measure each other's, you know, you know what I'm saying. All right, so I just wanted to throw that out there and kind of talk a little bit about the genesis of the channel and where I'm coming from. Like I said, I appreciate y'all's support as always, and we will see you. Enjoy the video later. Now, see, I did this last time. It will be down in the description, but the next code will come from Ominous Fixin, who has a great Twitch stream. I recommend it. It's Twitch TV/Ominous Fixin. It'll be written down there for you guys. Definitely check out her stream. It shows 5 p.m. CDT. 5 p.m. CDT. All right, good. I'm glad I didn't mess that up this time. See you later. Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Welcome back, folks. Thanks for tuning in this episode of World of Tanks. We've got Boop __Boop __, and his T-3485. Here's what I like about this right away. This is a tech tree tank. We are playing a tech tree tank, and Boop gets a pretty good result out of this. But he's camping. We're going to talk about that as we go. And you have taken yourself outside of that bush, Boop. Be very careful about that. Just expose your tank looking for that shot. Do not expose the tank. AMD's running around and we're at this bush. Now, Boop, I watched this and I'm trying to give him some help, but I'm watching him camp at this bush. And we are going to talk about this. Now, there is some good examples of gameplay at the end of this game. Let me show you what he's doing. Sorry, that was not showing you his camera. There's some good examples at the end of this game of pretty solid game mechanics and gameplay. So it appears that Boop can do those things, but he has eschewed that kind of gameplay right away. But let's see how it works out, and we'll talk about why I don't like this sort of initial positioning and gameplay as we go anyway. So here we are. We've got an Achilles, a couple other campers. We have one KV-2 and one Hellcat on one flank and 2 or 3 on the other. The Su-100Y is way in the back, and at least 3 of them here with the 12T just a little bit ahead. Cut of the cactus. We see the T-78. We miss him. Takes a shot, moves back. And we'll talk about it again. We'll talk about why I don't really like this gameplay. Nice shot on the 178 Bravo right there. Good lead fire, and down he goes. We have a little bit of trouble finishing him off, though. Take a shot here. Oh, he jinked. You jived, he jinked, and that would have been a great place to be reloaded. We're going to take... Oh, he did it again to you. And he does what those wheeled tanks do. He rages around. How about... Yeah, there you go. Take that shot. Who knows? Maybe it drops on him. Like I said, talk about why I don't like this. Interesting setup. He's carrying binoculars, so this, I would assume this is kind of a standard gameplay type for him. But what is happening? Well, what's happening is 4 of his tanks are dead already, because the majority of his team is sitting back, and he's lost an entire flank. For my money, Boop, where you go is you go over to the east side. But that's not what we're doing. We're going to hang out on the rock. We've got this 12T auto aimed, where he's busy. I'd have come out from behind that a little bit sooner. Just turn around, take him, give him those shots. Because once he dumps the clip out, he's going to run away, right? He's not going to sit there forever. And eventually he'll even notice that you see him. It didn't seem like he knew that. We're stunned. There we go. We clip that guy in the back. And now everybody and their mother knows that's where you are there, Boop, right? So we even this up a little bit. It's 4-5. But we definitely have a problem over on our west flank, and we're driving on a rock. Get off the rock, Boop. There you go. And it's even, 5-5. All right, fair enough. But we've been stuffed into a corner, right? The entire team is down here in the south and southeast corner. And all of a sudden we have guys pushing on our left. And I want you to watch this because this is your turret. We're going to watch this happen. All right, there was a shot on that guy as he went through right there. But we're looking this way and not making any kind of real awareness. And finally we go, ooh, somebody's there. And then had we backed out, we'd had shots as he crossed. But we turn around a little bit, we mess around, then we look forward, and then it's too late. So the 150 gets away without losing some hit points. And we're sort of reacting, so we come down here. Hold down right here. We see the HT. I'd have just fired that. Just give it a shot, see if you hit him. And we zoom back around, and oops, then we miss that guy. He gets lit, and we haven't had a shot yet. And we have 2 heavies pushing on 1 Hellcat. And there is a Cromwell now in the back, assuming shooting them. The artillery is shooting them, and the Su-100Y. But for my money, you react over there, you go with the Hellcat, and you try to gun those guys down. You have your whole team basically there if you're going to camp like you're doing. Nice shot on the 278. That's a good job right there. A little low roll. That's a bummer. Get lit. I'd be careful about poking out because things like that could happen. Thank goodness that dicker bounced. And now the 150's not looking at you, so shoot and stay there. Back up against the rocks so the dicker doesn't hit you. I'd have stayed there because now you're reloaded and you'd have had another shot right there. He wasn't looking at you, right? The turret was looking at the Hellcat. I think you had 2 shots there. I would have backed up enough that the dicker didn't shoot me again. And now we're spotted by the HT number 6. Boom. That's a bummer. You bounce. You're going to take a hit from the dicker. Somehow the HT number 6 misses, and quite frankly, at this point, you should be out of the game. You got a lucky bounce off from the dicker. The HT looks like he bounced one and he missed one, and it would be all over. And basically, this game goes much different at that point. So it has to be said, and I think, to be honest with you, at this point, you're gonna have a good game, and we're gonna talk about the good things you do. But at this point, you're incredibly lucky to even be in the game, and it doesn't have anything to do with what you've done so far. That's just the brutal honesty right here. It was pure RNG, and you're hanging out in the same place camping. So let's talk about it. I would have gone over to the east side and helped them over there. I would have flexed over to the west side if you were going to hang out in the middle and help them clean up those heavies much faster than you did. You exposed yourself to that Dicker Max multiple times right there, hanging out, and got very lucky. Now we're here, so what do we do? All right, fair enough. Not a bad plan immediately to see what's going on, but I would start moving at this point. They have TDs. You don't want to walk into them, but you do need to go find them. And it looks like maybe you're concerned about the T-78 potentially. But your buddy, the T-3045, who's near full hit points, is headed over that way, and he finds one of them. That T-78 has flexed. Now let's look at the tanks that they have. The T-78 and the Hellcat are the two I would expect that would move around the most because they have turrets. You've just isolated a 179 hit point T-78. If he has a friend with him, fine, but he's very soft, and your buddy, the 3045M, is all over him. So push in there. Come on the low road, give him a couple angles, and take this dude out. And this actually flummoxed me because you're going to go up the middle, even though you know you've got a guy probably isolated over there on the east side. And that's a prioritization thing. Always go with the guns in your game and try to take down the isolated tanks on the enemies. But we're going to go up to the middle and cook off our binocs. And this is where I start to see that you do know how to do this part of the game. Right? You do know how to do this, and that's good, because the problem with campers a lot of times, or people who have that more passive playstyle at the beginning, is oftentimes endgame they don't know what to do. So even though they create an advantage by hanging out at cap, their inability to push into the enemy gets them dead more often than not. But you're showing me that you've got some capability there. You're following up as well the 178. You shoot the 44. I think you did need to back up there just in case you got spotted. You didn't. Now you find the Hummel right here. It's unfortunate this guy gets away. Nice shot. Take him down. You pay attention that there's a building there. I might have just taken that shot just for the heck of it. Maybe it loops over the hill. Now we got this guy coming in. Zooming in, and you needed a little more lead fire on that. That was more just pointing right at him, so he sort of escapes your shot. This is a nice job here. He clearly doesn't have Sixth Sense, or maybe he just wanted to have the shot on the guy he was shooting at. You track him, and then you're going to shoot into here, but the artillery gets him, but that was an absolute right idea. He was probably still tracked. Get that in there and see if you can't kill him dark. And now we're going to move up. So nice job. You've managed to take down an Arty and a TD by moving up. The 3045 is still over there futzing around with the T78. Now imagine you'd gone over there and helped the 3045 and the T78's dead. Now he's actually an active participant in what you're doing. At this point, you're the Lone Ranger because you failed to go over there and help him out. We use bushes, we use rocks, that's good. The only problem is you are exposing yourself to over there, and the good news is, for whatever reason, the Dicker Max is not looking this way, or he has really bad view range, but they're actually pretty good view range, so I'm surprised you didn't take a Dicker Max. Oh boy, I'm surprised he didn't shoot you right there. So now we're going to come up here and we're going to use this center bush, and my only suspicion here is that most of these guys are fairly new or have bad crews, because you get away with some things here that you probably shouldn't have, but the idea is right. You come up in this bush, that's great. Get in there. Again, really surprised you didn't get shot from over here by anybody, but there you go. Binocs cook off, nothing. You get up into the bush a little bit more, and now we're kind of looking around, and I'm not sure how this happens. Maybe the M44 fired. Maybe the 3045 was spotted, and yeah, see, the 3045 just oh, that was you actually that clicked right there, and he gets spotted somehow. So whether he was moving around or fired and decreased his camo, you put a nice shot on him. Agreed there. You definitely need to back out in case someone saw you. I'm blown away. No one did. Once again, nobody sees you right there, so that's pretty amazing. We'll get up into that same bush, knowing that it worked. We'll kick off our Binocs again. And this is a pretty good job overall, man. I mean, the concepts of the gameplay are correct. See, how this dude didn't see you, I will never know. Must have the worst Hellcat crew known to man. Not quite zoomed in. He gets away with his 8 hit points. And the 3045 is still sitting there thinking, I'd be careful about this right here. I might have leaned a bit more left. We're going to come over here. And you know they're stuffed in a corner, and they have the disadvantage of being surrounded. The T-78 is able to move in. We see the Dicker. This is nicely done right here. Another concept, nice job. You track him, but he fixes it. And, man, I would not have dueled him. I'm surprised he didn't just fire as he went, but I think he was worried if he did, you'd come up and over and beat him on the reload. But that was really his only hope, was to try to snap one on you, and you were very lucky he did not, A, do it, and B, get a good RNG roll. The Hellcat is sitting there as well, sort of staring at you. But we've got him down. Artillery's bombing the poor guy. Nice job coming over here. So what he did right here is very important, and it's another concept that makes me think that, yeah, he can do this and probably doesn't need to rely so much on camping. Instead of just coming up and over, he knew it was a casemate, so he changed the left-right a little bit to force the guy to have to point at him. Now, he's pointing at the T-78, so the T-78 got his attention somehow. Maybe hit him, or maybe saw him. But in any event, he was probably going to be pointing about right here, and that's just potentially that little extra bit of time you would need to kill this guy off. And see, he tries to turn, but can't quite get his gun on. And down he goes. The T-78's raging around. Oops, I'll show you what he's doing. That was a nice job as an auto aim. I won't go back and make you look at it. And really, it's just cleanup on aisle 2. Even if he takes a hit and it looks like he bounced, and that's one of the things about the nice T-3045 armor, is you will get bounces. You'll notice that the alpha on that was 115, so that Hellcat was running with a smaller gun. My assumption there is it's a new crew or a new player with not a full strength Hellcat right there, so that helps as well. 5 kills, 2,336 damage, 635 bounce, 842 spotting. Ends up being an ace tanker in the 3045. So Boop, nice job overall. I will, the whole first part though with the camping, man, that's just not, for me, for my money, that is not the way to win battles in a lot of respects, especially considering the several hits you took while you were camping there. We should have never got to this part of the game. But once you did, you proved, I think, without a doubt, that you understand the mechanics and in general what you're doing and have a good solid foundation. So take that and put it at the beginning of the game. Stop sitting at the cap. Get out there and play the game. But you know what? We all have our own style, and if that's his style, it's hard to... I was about to say it's hard to argue with an ace, It's not hard to argue with it, but you know what? The results are the results. It's a really good game, man. Nicely done. Hey, thanks for sending it in because I think it's a good discussion point. And send it down there in the comments. You know, I think a lot of people will probably watch that and go, you know what, Guido, I think you're off base. That's his game style, and he did really well at it. So there you go. Okay, I'm willing to admit that for sure. But I just think that a player who shows the capabilities he did at the second part of the game could use them earlier in the game and might actually keep more of his friends alive and win the game better, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't mention it too much. I hope you enjoyed all the chat. There was some real angst going on down there. People were a little upset with the amount of camping going on. I don't think it was actually aimed at Boop. It was aimed at the scout that sat there for so long, and I think the Sioux-100Y. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. That is it for this one. Appreciate the subs, the follows on Twitch, and we will see you